Good morning. It is 8:49 a.m. on Saturday, September 8th, 2018. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, yesterday was another kind of long, stressful day at work, um, where definitely it, there was, without getting too much into it, it's another reminder of the lesson, the old saying, haste makes waste, right? Just the idea of, um, when you're pressured to do something quickly, not, or even when you're under pressure. I don't want to say pressured like it's always an external thing, because sometimes it's just you, right? It's just you pushing yourself. But when you are trying to do things in a hurry, you're more often going to mess something up, and frequently fixing the screw up takes longer than if you had just taken your time in the first place. So, uh, that's, yeah, that's no fun. But, and then I had to work late too, which meant that the improv show that I had planned to go to, wow, the lighting's a little weird today, and my glasses are doing weird shadow things. It's weird. Anyway, you know, it has this weird like shadow that makes it look like I have a black eye or something. Anyway, so I had improv tickets because right now this weekend is the Boston Improv Festival at Improv Boston, and so I bought a ticket for a show. And I had this whole plan. I was going to drive home from work. I was going to do my workout. I was going to, get all showered, eat dinner, and then go to the show. That was my plan for the evening. But I had to work so late that literally I had to, because I bought tickets, I wasn't going to cancel the show. But I realized I was not going to have time to do all that, and so I didn't do my workout. I had to work late, so late that I had to drive straight from work to the show, and I made it like literally with moments to spare. The show was at 7 o'clock, and doing my best to get there as soon as possible, I arrived at 6:57. And it worked out fine, even though it was stressful just because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. The traffic was pretty bad. But I did make it, and it was great. So I actually ended up seeing two shows. One was called Anybody, an improvised hip hopera. And the idea is, it's obviously riffing on Hamilton, but the idea is that you get audience suggestions for a historical figure, and they do a Hamilton style improvised musical about that person's life, and it was awesome. They ended up doing it on Winston Churchill, and it was funny because as soon as they selected it, and everyone knows, like, oh yeah, everyone knows the name Winston Churchill, and they're going around and asking for more information, and a lot of people are suddenly realizing, okay, how much do I actually know about Winston Churchill? Can I answer actual questions about his life? But obviously, what they're just really doing is mining for sort of memorable details that they can seed into the show. And it was really good, especially since I've taken a couple of musical improv classes. Generally speaking, one of the lessons we learned was, avoid rhymes if possible, because they're hard, and if you start doing it, people expect it. And yeah, but when you're doing an improvised historical hip hopera, Hamilton style, rhymes are kind of expected even before you start. So they did lots of rhymes, and they were so good at it. I'm sure they practiced a lot, but it was really good. I liked it a lot, and a couple of the people who were there from my who were in my Improv 701 class were there, and so that was fun. And then I actually stayed for the next show as well, which was a group called Thanks for Coming Out, and it's a show. It's a team that features LGBTQ improvisers, and the format of the show was they had sort of two sets in an hour show where at the beginning of each set they had someone come up. This was someone who was, I think, like a guest, not one of the usual improviser teams, but someone who came up to tell a coming out story as a little monologue, and then they did just improvised scenes based on, inspired from that coming out story. So not like retelling that story, but just drawing inspiration from. And it was also really good. And I was actually happy to see that one just because there's a number of workshops that are also being done as part of the Boston Improv Festival. And one of them is about narrative storytelling in the sense of like how to have your improv set tell a story and reach the ending within the time frame. And it's being done by the people from Thanks for Coming Out, and that's the one that I'm signed up for. So that was a big part of the reason I stayed for the next show, was just like, hey, the next show is the people who are running the workshop that you're doing tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah, I should stay for that one, sure. And so I am. So I am going to that workshop today, and that's actually happening at the same time that normally Cursive Strahd might be. But Cursive Strahd wasn't going to happen this week anyway because we didn't have everybody, and I think it's just kind of a week off from Saturday D&D. But so in any event, that's what I'm up to today, and I hope you have something fun to do too, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Well, so tomorrow is Sunday, so I will be continuing my rewatch of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya with episodes 3 through 7 of The Endless Eight. And either that means something to you, in which case you'll understand why I'm doing that, or it doesn't, in which case it doesn't matter. So, with that in mind, I will talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.